Hello, my name is Kyle Stapp, and today I will be talking to you about the ups and downs of the confrontation meeting intervention method. This is an intervention method at the team level, first developed by Richard Beckard, used to get a read on the company's health and set a plan to improve it. Confrontation meetings are described as a way for the entire management group from all levels of the organization to get a fast reading on the organization's health and to set a plan of action to correct any adverse side effects that the company may be facing because of the bad health. First, the purpose of these meetings is not to confront people about the problems they're having with each other or with members of their team, but to identify obstacles that they may be facing already or may face soon, from Anderson 2020. This is intended to shine light on areas of ineffectiveness or dissatisfaction in the team. So management needs to be a very cohesive unit to make sure things don't fall apart on you mid-meeting. According to Amy Overton from her journal, when a conflict exists, the first step is to decide whether to address it. That decision involves balancing the reward against price of addressing the issue. That balance is unique to each circumstance. Some general rules that are, if the issue is troublesome enough that is affecting your behavior or weighing on your conscience, it should be addressed. Through addressing these conflicts, I think you can see an improvement to your day-to-day life at work. An effective confrontation meeting will include at least 2 one-hour sessions a day and will most likely be broken up into multiple days. The different sections of a confrontation meeting and the time you should devote to them are as follows. Climate setting should be about an hour. Information collection, an hour. Information sharing, flexible. Priority setting, group action planning, an hour plus, maybe an hour and a half. Organizational action plan, at least 2 hours. Immediate follow-up, 1 to 3 hours. This is from the textbook Anderson 2020. Each of these are important and essential features of the confrontation meeting and should be researched before the meeting to make sure everything runs smoothly. Some strengths of the confrontation meeting include the fact that it improves many facets of the organization, including direct communication, work culture, employee morale, and interdepartmental relationships. It will also provide solutions to day-to-day problems if done effectively. On the other hand, some weaknesses may involve the fact that it requires a management team that is extremely cohesive. It may lead to conflict between departments if the management isn't close. Conflict meetings may not always provide solutions to problems. It requires open communications to perform this well. And it may bring new problems to the surface and not solve them due to the time constraints on this method. Here's my scenario. When I worked at a car dealership, there was a problem with how the vendors that serviced our cars got paid. Vendors did outside work, like lifting trunks or paint and body work on the cars. There are third-party companies that our dealership paid for their expertise. They provided invoices to 2 different departments for a while, sales and AP, AR respectively. Already I'm sure you can see how this is a problem. The AP, AR department always paid first because it was their job and the sales department was always busy. Eventually sales got caught up to look at the invoices and would write another check to the vendors for work they had already been paid for. After a while, the AP/AR department caught a couple of the duplicated invoices and brought the problem directly to the sales managers, who immediately saw the problem as well. The graphic I made demonstrates the problem the dealership was having. 2 separate invoices to 2 different departments and 2 different payment checks. After gathering the management for AP and AR and sales, they sat down and set a climate of teamwork. Although I know these 2 groups did not always get along, they were close enough and willing enough to listen to each other. They then collected information on which vendors had been sending them 2 invoices and who had been paying the invoices on each side of the department. After they collected this info, they shared the information they found with each other and started setting priorities in which department needed to do what in the future. After they set priorities, they put together an action plan which consisted of a new vendor structure and rules for outside vendors. The plan was this. Vendors created 1 invoice and gave it directly to the sales manager, who signed it if it looks correct and sends it to AP and AR to double check the pricing and write a check. After the check is written, it is sent to the vendor and the vendor is happy. If any vendors did create a duplicate invoice and tried to send it to sales and AP and AR, the contract with the vendor will be terminated. The new system is also represented on the bottom side of the slide. This intervention not only solved a major issue that was bleeding the dealership of funds, but also implemented a new standard for communication between the two departments and led to improved relationships and culture in the dealership.